In a world of tweets and text, email, and instant messaging,
That's cool. That's edited way too fast.
are we communicating any better? Is it modern technology with the effects on both business and society?
There's a lot of spyware out there. Sneaks into your system, follows you wherever you may go.
Listen to Knowledge Talk, the show that said it all, with your host, Tariq Al Barwani, Tuesdays at 5:30 to 6:30 p.m.
Emotion.
Global.
Face it and talk it through on Knowledge Talk. Knowledge Talk.
That's what'll get me to buy a smartphone.
Or a wearable computer.
Or a website that finally puts me in the driver's seat.
No.
Every week here on the Nation Station Radio, Sultan of Oman, 90.4 FM.
Oman Radio 90.4 FM.
Assalamu alaikum, good afternoon, and welcome to Knowledge Talks. A weekly edutainment and knowledge sharing program aired live specifically to share with you topics that contribute knowledge to the society. Every week, Knowledge Talks hosts and invites guests that are experts, professionals, and leaders from the field that bring wealth of knowledge to you. Knowledge Talks also highlights and promotes talents in the country that contribute knowledge and success to the nation. This program, ladies and gentlemen, is a weekly session that I will have with you every Tuesday at 5 p.m. I'm your host, Tariq Al Barwani, along with our studio engineer, DJ Saleh, for an hour bringing you free knowledge at your doorsteps on Oman Radio FM 90.4. Okay, stay tuned after this music break for today's interesting guest and interesting knowledge topic.
Oman Radio 90.4 FM.
Welcome back to Knowledge Talks, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Tariq Al Barwani, along with our studio engineer, DJ Huda, with you here live today on Oman Radio FM 90.4. What would it take to transform your organization into a new direction and even better, to an effective mode? Well, my guest today is the Managing Director of Protiviti, one of the global consulting firms that helps companies solve problems in finance, technology, operations, governance, risk, and internal audit. I'm sure the question that you have is, what is organizational transformation? What are the benefits and the process required in order to transform an organization entirely and effectively? Is our subject today on Knowledge Talks, ladies and gentlemen. My guest today, ladies and gentlemen, is Shatha Al Maskari. Shatha is the Managing Director in Oman and a Solution Leader in Organizational Transformation and Human Capital Consultancy at Protiviti member firm Middle East. Shatha's 18 years of international experience spans across business and risk consulting with Arthur Andersen, PwC, and Shell. Shatha won 2 awards in the United States of America, receiving the first honorary mention for coaching the youth, and she was also one of the 6 winners in the US for her paper of PwC's Center of Advanced Research on Sustainability. Shatha also won a Middle East award as HR Professional of the Year for the innovative program she led, I Succeed, using technology to disrupt HR to address organizational strategy. This year, SME Arabia advisor based in UAE published Shatha's article for the Oman chapter on importance of harnessing disruptive technologies, employee engagement and emphasis on STEM education for the sustainable future of Oman and its budding entrepreneurs. Shatha is also the founder and organizer of the National Leadership in Digital Age Forum, which has been successful for 4 consecutive years. MashaAllah. Shatha, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and how are you today?
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm very good. This is the first time I come on a radio. So it's going to be interesting.
MashaAllah. To you, it might be a first time. To me, it's an honor. You know, one thing about you, Shatha, is, mashallah, I like is a number of time I've attended sessions where you have been part of it as representing your company. You have been also a speaker, and you have been presenting a number of events. And I would say, mashallah, you are quality, you are classic, and you know what you're doing. And that's what I respect very high. And that's why it's an honor today to have you here on Oman Radio FM 90.4.
Thank you very much. That's very kind.
Let me tell you one thing, by the way. Something that, apart from all that, if I start talking about you, I might end up writing a book. But let me focus on something that I really like. Every day morning or every periodic time of the day, when I go to the social media platform to share my knowledge, and I see someone beat me to the race. And you know who's that? It's you. Because you have very nice posts that you post every periodical basis, and on LinkedIn, mashallah, and I recommend and everyone who has a LinkedIn account is to look up on Shatha Al Maskari, the managing director of Productivity, and you will learn a lot, as I learned too, mashallah. And you have a lot of fans, by the way. They were looking forward for this interview. You know that.
Thanks a lot.
Shatha, social media activities are something that you do to share your knowledge. But look, just from a professional perspective, which ones, apart from LinkedIn, do you use?
We use Twitter.
Okay.
Yeah. We've realized that at least the last year, there's been a lot of activity, especially among Omanis.
Okay.
Which I did not expect. I was not that active before.
Okay.
I used to be on LinkedIn.
Okay.
But I realized that Twitter, actually, there's a lot more activity amongst the Omanis.
Okay.
And funny enough, when we got started, we used it as an employee engagement amongst our team. We said we'll all go on to Twitter and start retweeting, what Productivity does globally, and then also start tweeting about what we do locally, and also to encourage personal branding, so that they can also find themselves and how they can be vocal about their views and thoughts within the professional limitations, obviously. In terms of reach, we found that being with or participating on Twitter specifically has given us a very wide reach. We're talking about clients, we're talking about students, we're talking about potential employees, we're talking about even our colleagues around the globe have found us, and they found us quite active. Yeah,
I can definitely vouch on that and respect that fully by seeing a number of time Productivity sharing and resharing what other initiatives are doing. And of course that goes thanks to you and your leadership for making such a team behind it to ensure that they utilize the Twitter very, very well. Compared to LinkedIn, do you think Twitter is far more effective as a tool?
I personally feel that Twitter is far more effective if you're trying to reach with knowledge. LinkedIn, I think it's becoming misused now. Everyone just wants to add you and wants to be connected to you. And there seems to be a lot of spamming as well. So you get a lot of, you can have a CEO from Orpic, but there's like 5 of them. And so
Really? Okay.
So I've seen this recently, and I said, and I believe I'm also communicating with artificial intelligence.
Okay.
Because I've tried to respond to certain emails and, trying to corner them, and I realize I'm not talking to a human. I'm talking to most likely artificial intelligence.
Yeah, that's on LinkedIn.
That's on
Do
LinkedIn.
you see the future of LinkedIn is in risk, looking at the different social media platforms that are coming out there?
I don't know about risk as much as it's quite useful when you just want to look someone up to see their background, because it's like a CV check.
Yes. Yeah.
Usually if we're recruiting someone, if we don't find them on LinkedIn, we've actually questioned that too. Yeah, so as a professional, how come you don't exist on LinkedIn?
So you do recommend professionals and people who are looking for job to put up their information on LinkedIn?
Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very interesting information that you have here right now from the Managing Director of Protivity, Shatha Al Maskari, saying that you need to post your details as you have a CV on the traditional manner today. You can put it electronically on LinkedIn, and it's free.
Yeah.
And you get an opportunity for people to see what you're doing. Now, in terms of posting, you've got Facebook, you've got different platforms out there. For instance, you mentioned Twitter as well. It can be used as an engagement, but you think LinkedIn is not used as an engagement kind of...
There is some level of engagement, but not as much as Twitter.
Not as much as Twitter.
In my opinion. And I think although... Twitter does post a lot of articles and whatnot, I think people are more interested in original content.
Yeah, okay.
And short and sweet content, and kind of trigger them to get them thinking.
Okay. Looking at and looking at Twitter, but the limitation is only 164 characters.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that actually teaches you or trains your mind to be more precise and concise.
Okay, yeah, because I found people finding it's a little bit difficult to share much of their information from the Twitter for it being a limitation. But I like what you said, being short and sweet sometimes is the way to go. Protivity is the company that you represent, and I believe Protivity is a global firm.
Correct.
Could you please tell us more about Protivity?
Protivity was actually established in 2002, shortly after the Enron scandal that is quite well known across the globe, when Anderson actually collapsed due to the scandals at Enron. So about 700 of the employees from this Anderson Consulting were actually absorbed by Robert Half, which is a 4.65 billion staffing company. And they basically took on most of the leaders, the partners, etc. And they set up a subsidiary called Protivity Inc., which was set up in California. And in less than 10 years, we spread pretty rapidly across the globe.
How many companies are there right now in the whole across the globe?
There are about 60 offices.
60 offices of Protivity. And the one in Oman, when was it opened?
In 2008.
And you are the one who opened it in Oman?
I opened it along with Mubarak and Amani.
Okay, mashallah. In Oman, you are the first people who have started.
Established it.
How did it come? What made you open the Protivity in Oman?
The key thing is that we felt there is a gap in the market in terms of how clients are being served. It's become very commoditized sort of services. They don't see any value in it. It's just a checklist, something to do, and we get the client or we get the consulting to come in, get the job done and leave. So we wanted to come in and show how we can add value. And we wanted to also show Omani leadership. Considering that both myself and Mubarak have studied and worked overseas, we thought that maybe that could be also a value proposition. And thankfully, we did also get hired at individual basis where clients actually asked us to come in and do consulting for them. So we're not just walking around as MDs trying to close business deals, but we're also doing work for them.
Okay, so apart from leading the Protivity, you're also doing sales as well?
Yes.
Can I ask you a question? That's a very good one. Would you say that as a salesperson is a profession that... Would you agree, a salesperson, sales skill is a very important skill for any individual to have? That's number one. And two is a skill that can take you to become a CEO.
Sales, I think it actually differentiates between a high performer and a performer, an ordinary performer, because sales is all about persuasion skills.
True.
It's about skills of knowing what you're selling, whether it's a product, whether it's a service. You know how to address the benefits. You know how to also pinpoint the pain areas and what you're going to sell to them so that they can buy into. So it's all about, having the knowledge content as well as persuasion skills to actually convince the client that, okay, I should go for this or not. Because we're not selling products, we're selling ourselves. As services.
I respect I respect that fully. Ladies and gentlemen, for all those people who think about sales, and I know a lot of people think I do not want to go to sales is because probably the targets that are there, or it's a difficult role, or because of the rejection that you have. But no, it's a skill that can take you up and become, the boss of all the organization as well. We have an example already here. Shatha, mashallah. She is the leader of the organization, and one of the statement that she said that I appreciated highly is saying that I do sales as well, Tariq, apart from just having the title of being an MD. Productivity, in a nutshell, what are the activities that you do?
We do a lot of activities. I would say we're very comparable to the big four, which are EY, PwC, Deloitte & Touche, KPMG.
Okay.
The major difference is that we are specialized in risk management and internal audit.
Okay.
So we don't do taxation and we don't do attestation services.
Okay.
And what that means is we just don't sign off on financial statements, which was the reason why we were reborn because of the Enron scandal. So we said, let's just keep away from that. And the key differentiator is that we don't have conflict of interest with our clients because there's no reason to do one thing in favor for another service because there's nothing to certify. So we're pure advisory services.
How many organizations have productivity serviced in Oman?
I don't have the number at the top of my head, but at least.
But 60. You already said if it's that is a big number. I can say, mashallah.
It's I would say the majority of the financial services sector, oil and gas, telecom, a few government entities, all the authority bodies. And then a few, here and there in terms of transportation and shipping. Okay,
so it was very much a right decision yourself and Mubarak, was it? Mubarak to open up productivity in Oman. So there was a need. You came up in the market and you opened up the business productivity, partnered with the global firm, I believe, and you believe it has worked out very, very well.
Yeah, but it required, there was a need to bleed as well.
Okay, when you say bleed, what do you mean by that?
Bleed financially, bleed with your sweat, bleed with patience, bleed with trying to find the right people to help you, bleed with the client who does not have the trust and confidence, for whatever the reasons are due to, prior experience, etc. So there was a lot of work to be done. It took at least 3 years to gain their confidence and trust. But let's open the doors and listen to what they have to say.
And alhamdulillah, you have built that today.
Alhamdulillah.
If you're talking about competitors in the country, do you have any?
Good question. I used to say yes. Right now, I think if clients are looking for value, no. If clients are looking for the most competitive bid financially, then I do have competitors. I
love that response very, very well. Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a quick break before we continue our interesting session today with Shatha.
In a world of tweets and text, email, and instant messaging.
That's cool. That's edited way too fast.
Are we communicating any better? Is it modern technology with the effects on both business and society?
There's a lot of spyware out there. Sneaks into your system, follows you wherever you may go.
Listen to Knowledge Talk. The show that said it all. With your host, Tariq Al Barwani. Tuesdays at 5:30 to 6:30 p.m.
Emotion.
Global.
Face it and talk it through on Knowledge Talk. Knowledge Talk.
That's what'll get me to buy a smartphone.
Or a wearable computer.
Or a website that finally puts me in the driver's seat.
No.
Every week here on the Nation Station Radio, Sultan of Oman, 90.4 FM.
Welcome back to Knowledge Talks, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Tariq Al Barwani, along with our studio engineer, DJ Huda, with you here live today on Oman Radio FM 90.4. My guest today is the interesting Shatha Al Maskari, and she is the Managing Director of Productivity Oman. Our discussion today, ladies and gentlemen, is on organizational transformation, and we've had a very interesting insights from Shatha before the music break on the usage of social media and what does Shatha personally use and the organization and her advice on the same. Shatha, today our topic is on organizational transformation, and I believe this is one of your specialty and also what Productivity does. Could you kindly share what is an organizational transformation?
Yeah, sure. I mean, to be fair, organizational transformation means different things to different clients, depending on, is it a people issue related, is it a process issue related, is it a technology issue related, is it data, is it governance, etc.
Okay.
Very often the understanding is organizational transformation is related to organization structuring,
okay,
in terms of power, spread of power across an organization, in terms of workforce optimization, so how well a workforce is optimized across the different business lines or disciplines. Sometimes it's also down to the process.
Okay.
Yeah, the ideal way of looking at things when you want to go into a restructuring of an organization is to go down to the process. So analyze every single process. You can even do a time and effort estimates as to, okay, how long do these transactions take, so forth, and it all aggregates, and then you can actually design a new organization structure that is streamlined with the business strategy, with the business plan, with their vision, etc. Because usually what happens is we see very often is that organization structures keep changing every other year, and part of the reason is there's lack of alignment between their vision, their strategy, and then all the other initiatives within the organization, which creates frustration, which creates a lot of people issues. And that's why we've clubbed our service line. We've actually established the service line in Oman.
Okay, oh, mashallah. Okay.
So at a global level, we've established it in Oman. We've clubbed that with human capital consultancy because any transformation requires people. We can always talk about technology, policies, procedures, data, etc., but that's not going to work without the people buying into these changes. And we've come to a time where it's all about budget cuts, cost cutting, etc. And from that aspect, we're looking at, okay, what do we do to help clients create new business value and also get rid of the redundant service lines or the high risk service lines, or where they have issues or challenges in terms of attracting talent, because that's another issue. So we want to start something, but we don't have the right people in the business line, or we have too many people and it's the wrong business we're in. So it really comes from different aspects. I wouldn't say that any organization goes into a full-on organizational transformation. They have specific needs, and yes, it will impact the organization, but it's not, there's so many touch points depending on their pain areas. Because if it's going to be a whole holistic organizational transformation, obviously we run diagnostic reviews. And based on the diagnostic reviews, we sit with all the key stakeholders to prioritize what are the priorities for the year, what is their budget, do they have the appetite to go ahead with this, how does the board feel about certain changes, is the management ready for these changes, are the people ready for these changes.
Okay, this is it's very fascinating process, I see. I wonder, what is the, looking from your experience, looking at the minimum number of days, months or weeks it takes for an organization to be transformed in any of the touch point that you in any of the phases that you've mentioned, whether it's the process, whether it's the structure or whatever it is, to the maximum in from the examples of you have already looked into organization?
I can put it this way: with the small initiatives we've done, it takes anywhere between 8 months to 3 years.
Wow, okay.
Because people also need to buy into the changes.
Trained and all that.
Yeah, but mainly the issue with transformation is that there's very little communication happening when changes are taking place. So very often we go into client sites making changes and they just see us walking down the hallways but don't know what's in it for them. Not branding the changes is a big issue, and not communicating it openly and transparently is another issue, and not involving more of the stakeholders. So we're not talking about just the CEOs or the second level, but even the third layer, even middle management, hear them out and see what is it that we want to resolve. Because true leaders really have to go to ground zero and understand even the handyman, what do they do, and that's how innovation starts anyways.
I respect that fully. And do you face any challenges or setbacks with organizations, with people that you interact with within the organization that you work to help them transform themselves?
Yes, if there's no sponsorship from the CEO, if there isn't that strong mandate coming from the top management, nobody's interested to engage.
Ouch. So the CEO has to play a very critical role in himself or herself accepting and then pushing forward this responsibility. Oh no, that's very, very interesting. Organizational transformation is a very large topic, and what you shared it summarizes it very, very neatly. Unfortunately, we have only 15 minutes to go, and your precious presence here, I would like to make the best out of you. You are a leader. You're a woman. You're just not any leader. You're a successful one. I know personally, mashallah. Tell me one thing. What does it take for a female to be a leader in such a firm, like a consulting firm, a global firm like yourself?
I wouldn't say it's any different from, I don't think it's gender-based. Obviously, we always have it more, we have it tougher as women. This field is, dominated by men. All my competitors are men. Those are the people that I meet every day, but also all my clients are men. So I don't think this is gender-based whatsoever, other than the fact that we have to, being an Omani has its pluses and has its negatives. So the pluses are those who believe in this in-country value, etc., do welcome us with open arms. And those who want something more, they have to kind of get to know us better to see if we're capable or not. But bottom line, you just have to work twice as hard and be twice as more patient.
Okay, I can tell you one thing. I like when you said it's not a gender-based, which I respect and I agree fully myself. And in fact, I would personally say that women would do even better than men at other tasks as well. Now, you being running this, and you being a leader running this firm, you being in Oman, and as you mentioned that there are some challenges and plus and minuses. What characteristic would you say a female as a leader should have in order to bypass these challenges?
She should be a female.
I like that. Okay.
There's no reason to be anything that we describe male leaderships as, who are I don't know what words to use, but you don't use aggression. That's not the way to find your way up. And I believe anyways, with everything that's happening today, you need to be ethical, you need to be collaborative, you need to have that change mindset, you need to be an active listener. So it's not about listening to your voice all the time, it's more about engaging with others, to listen to them, whether it's your employees, whether it's your clients, whether it's the junior staff at the client or the CEO. We have to treat them all the same way. At least I feel that is my success factor, because half of the wins we got was not through opening the big doors of the big sharks. It was actually the very little doors that were loose. And those are the people that help us go in, because they felt respected and appreciated.
I respect that fully, Shatha. Tell us about the Leadership in Digital Age Forum you founded.
The story, I have been repeating this many times. My niece actually asked me, what do I do to make this country a better place? And I was dumbfounded, actually. I didn't have an answer. And at that time, I was very excited coming back to Oman 6 years ago and saying there's a lot of potential for technology enablement in organizations, and we need to move ahead. So on that note, I decided, you know what, I'm just going to do this, set up an annual forum.
Mashallah.
Initially it was just for the year one, but we got some good feedback, and they said, we expect you to do this on an annual basis.
Okay, when is the next one?
We haven't planned it yet.
Okay, please let me know how we can partner together. I mean, I would love to be part of your initiatives,
Definitely.
You also won the HR Professional of the Year for the I Succeed. Could you tell us more about it?
I Succeed was, again, another this nationalistic in me, where we want to focus on capacity building, on talent management, acquiring talent, and how to develop them. So this tool or the program itself has online assessment tools, whether we're looking at secretarial, whether we're looking at middle management, whether we're looking at leadership. And the program entails coaching, which is missing. There isn't a coaching culture, and the culture here is, okay, you know, if you're good to me, I give you a good rating. If you're bad to me, I'm going to give you a bad rating. And we're trying to take this a step forward, so it's beyond just KPIs as well. It's more about looking at the softer skills, organizational skills, social skills, work tempo. You know, do you have that sense of urgency or you don't? Are you detail oriented or not? Do you have conceptual thinking or not? And actually we've received some really good feedback using this tool, because it just takes 20 minutes of your time to run this assessment, and it's eye-opening when you get the results.
And how can one obtain this tool?
The tool is not for sale.
Okay.
So we run the assessment. It's license-based.
So from Protivity, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it for individual organizations?
We're open. We're here
so
to help
anyone can
everyone.
come in and do the test.
Yes.
At your offices? Mm-hmm. Where is your office?
Well, it doesn't have to be at our office.
We can write an email?
Yeah, the request can come through email.
Okay.
And we can send a link to the assessment.
Okay.
And once you complete the assessment, we generate a report for you.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely. And this was, of course, this is something that you have worked on it with your team to develop it.
That's right, my team.
MashaAllah. I respect that fully. Who is your role model and motivator, by the way?
This is an easy one. It's my mom.
Oh, mashallah. Your mom is your motivator,
yes.
Role model. I hope she's listening to our program today.
I don't know.
Yeah, please, and say, hello, mom. Pass on the regards. I'm sure she's very, very happy as well. You said that 6 years ago, you came from
the US.
US. So you were studying in US and you came?
No, I was working.
You're working for US. We mentioned that earlier of the program. And then you came to Oman. And then if you notice one thing, 6 years ago is that when I started hearing about you, which says big, mashallah. When you came back in Oman, you created already a brand for yourself. Do you know that you've got a strong brand, by the way?
I'm glad to hear that.
Yes, you do, mashallah. What are your future plans and goals, Shatha?
Future plans and goals, well, it's really to grow our practice. It's to take in more Omanis.
Okay.
I like to call myself an incubator, where
mashallah.
we develop Omanis in many fields. So we're quite open. They don't come in, we don't bucket them. They actually get to test different fields. Sometimes there's mines that they step on, and other times they actually enjoy what they're doing, and they have that sense of freedom. So, and this is, I think, one of my key success factors, because we don't attract anyone by salary.
Okay, alhamdulillah.
But they just love their job. Even when they're sick, they still turn up at work. They kind of miss the happy environment that we create. But it's mainly, we're attracting Omanis who want to learn and grow. And what I try to instill in their minds is that let's not think about job security. There's nothing secure anymore. And especially with the digital age, the disruption, the economy crisis, the oil price drop, we need to be employable no matter where we go. Whether it's in Oman or overseas. And they love that, because that actually gives them better security about their position and their skills, etc.
MashaAllah. That is a kind of thing that people would love to work under such kind of a leader, mashallah, because it's not about the money, it's a kind of the incentive that you give to them and the encouragement you give to them. And in fact, I know a number of people who are working for Protivity, and they speak very high of the companies just because of you. Can I send my CV, by the way? What is the process that we need to do?
You don't need a CV.
No.
We don't need a CV.
Anything you wish to share to our audience today?
Well, anyone can contact us anytime. We have offered a lot of free sessions. We've been working closely with colleges and universities. We also coach students who are kind of lost in their final year in terms of career advice, etc. So they're more than welcome to contact any of us at the organization.
Shatha, thank you very much for joining us today on Oman Radio FM 90.4 to share about organizational transformation and also how leadership in women really works. I would like to take this opportunity to wish you the very success and best in all that you do, inshallah.
Thank you very much.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of our program for this week. I hope you all had an intriguing time with us. Let us catch up again next week on Tuesday, same time at 5 p.m. for a knowledge session. I'm Tariq Al Barwani, along with our studio engineer DJ Huda, wishing you all a happy and a pleasant week. Ma'as salama.